You know, I had hesitated to play that song for y'all. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite songs. Je l'aime à mourir. I love her or I love them. It's not clear who he's talking about. I think he's talking about his daughter to death, which is not an expression they have in French like they do in English. Je l'aime à mourir. In English, I love you to death is kind of something people can say offhand. In French, not so much. And it's a very beautiful song. It's kind of a poem. And now that I know that there are so many Billy Joel fans in here, I will feel less self-conscious about sharing stuff that isn't from 2020. That's also good. So yeah, there you go. Francis Cabrel, he's got some Spanish roots, and so the guitar is really present in his songs. Ok, voilà. Bienvenue, bienvenue. Aujourd'hui, c'est le jeudi 21 janvier. On va commencer avec l'échauffement et puis les exercices quels. Et on va entamer ceux. On va commencer à voir ceux. Je prendrai un peu de temps pour vous contacter si vous avez une note très basse pour vous donner le temps de rattraper. Et puis des questions pour le semestre prochain. Ok, donc quelle est ta couleur préférée pour l'échauffement? You can say it out loud, you can put it in the chat, or you can use annotation to annotate. And so some people were putting little hearts next to their favorite color. You could just draw a little circle. I'd love to see what your favorite color is. Ok, ouais, donc on a un peu rose, violet, un peu pêche, hein, et puis on a rouge, rose, magenta, magenta, vert, on a dans le chat vert et jaune. J'aime bien jaune-vert. Moi, c'est ma couleur préférée ici. J'aime beaucoup cette couleur jaune un peu vert. Ok, super. Ok, et puis maintenant, quel jour sommes-nous? Quelle heure est-il et quel âge as-tu? Donc voici 3 questions que vous avez peut-être vues en français. Maybe you already saw these questions in French. Maybe you're really familiar with them. I know for sure you know this one. Okay. Quel âge as-tu? Quelle heure est-il? Quel jour sommes-nous? And I can give you some hints to help you answer, but I'd love to see you answer in the chat or out loud, or you can even annotate. Somebody was annotating. And so we're using quel, and you've been using quel, but now we're just learning how to use it properly and what it means, right? So we're kind of taking these things that are familiar, like quel âge as-tu, and now you're getting a deeper understanding for what that's actually asking. Ok, donc quel âge as-tu? Quelle heure est-il? Quel jour sommes-nous? And if you're having trouble thinking of an answer, here's an example. Okay, oui, somebody got the answer in the chat. Awesome. Donc, la réponse, c'est nous sommes. Quelle heure est-il? Il est. Quel âge as-tu? J'ai. Okay, ouais, ça va, ça va. Didn't get a lot of answers, but that's okay. I hope you know them and you're just being shy. Ok? Donc, quel jour sommes-nous? Nous sommes jeudi. Aujourd'hui, c'est jeudi. Quel jour sommes-nous? Nous sommes jeudi. Somebody's living in the past. They put mercredi. Donc, nous sommes jeudi. Quelle heure est-il? Il est 10h10. Bon, il est 11h maintenant. 11h09, je pense. Donc, il est 11h09 maintenant. OK? Donc, quelle heure est-il? Il est 11h09. Quel âge as-tu? J'ai 15 ans ou j'ai 16 ans. Super. Moi, j'ai 33 ans. 33. Super. Okay, so here, these are questions that you may have already seen, especially quel âge as-tu? I know for sure you've seen before. What age are you, right? What age are you? What time is it? Quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? What time out of the 24 hours is it? Okay. Il est 11 heures. This I made for, I haven't changed the slide since first hour, so it's got the time for first hour. Quel jour sommes-nous? Nous sommes jeudi. Which day are we? Right? And you're talking about which day of the 7 days that exist, unless you've invented an 8th day that I don't know about yet. Let me know when you've done that. But out of the 7 days, which day is it? Is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Quel jour sommes-nous? Right? Okay, so again, I want to just introduce you to quel, not because I expect you to master it between yesterday and tomorrow, but because I want to expose you to it and get you familiar with it so that semester 2 we can get really good at using it. Okay. So again, here's some examples with quel. Okay, so yesterday I gave you all some time to complete this activity in class. Some folks were catching up and then other folks were doing this activity. I wanted to let you know in these initial steps, when we're first learning this stuff, if you give me this answer, that's okay. If you just put quel across the board, it's all good. All right, it's all good. Later on, towards the end of second semester, I'm going to start really encouraging you to start getting the agreement of adjectives with nouns in French, because that is important to spelling and such. But it's not a priority right now. It will be a priority at the end of the semester, so that by the time you get to French 3, you can make those agreements most of the time, or even all the time. All right, because in French, the adjective agrees with the noun. But until then, if you just put quel in here, it's all good. That's okay. All right, so I want to take a moment, take about 2 minutes, and give you some time to complete this if you haven't already. And again, we're looking at the different forms of quel, right? So before I send you off to complete the activity or finish it, if you haven't finished it, we've got a few different forms. Quel, 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 quel. They all sound the same. Again, French pronunciation is annoying. It is what it is. Maybe tomorrow, as a sending away gift, I will share a clip from Tumblr about how annoying French pronunciation is. But quel, quel pantalon, quelle chemise. The spelling of quel is changing. Why? What's changing between un pantalon and une chemise that makes it so that quel has to change? Why is quel changing between pantalon, chemise? Un pantalon, une chemise. What's changing? You got it. Masculine versus feminine. All right. So again, I gave you the whole spiel yesterday about how in French and in all Romance languages, every word has a gender, whether it's a banana or a mug or a table. Why? I don't know. You can make a whole career out of explaining why those rules became rules, but it's a thing, right? And so yes, pantalon is masculin, singulier, singular masculine. Quel pantalon? Chemise is singulier féminin, feminine singular, and that's why we're changing the spelling. So we're adding an extra le at the end if it's feminine. All right. So then we've got quelle chemise, quelle est la date? Quelle chaussure? What's changing here? We're adding an S. And why are we adding an S? Same thing for chapeau. Quel chapeau? So we've got some similarities between pantalon, t-shirt, chapeau, but chapeau has an S on the end. And chaussure, similar to chemise, date. Yeah, it's multiple, it's plural. Awesome. I'm seeing a good answer in the chat. All right, so chaussure is feminine plural. Right, so here we've got feminine singular, quelle chemise, quelle est la date? Feminine plural is going to look like this, quelle chaussure. All right, and then chapeau Same thing. Quel pantalon, quel t-shirt, singular masculine. Boom. Chapeau, masculine, plural. We're just adding an S on the end. All right. So with that knowledge, armed with that knowledge of how quel works, go do battle with that one activity and finish it if you haven't already. And if you just put this in, that's okay, that's enough. But if you can, try to get them to match with the gender and number of the words. So again, my goal for this is not for you to master it 100%, but I thought I would offer you this activity just to get the answers and see how you did. Close. Somebody's got a close answer for number 4. You can send them in the chat with the number. 1 might be tricky because you don't know valise. You do know the words chaussure, chaussette, and the others I'll help you. The other 5 were actually a little easier because they're words that you're more familiar with. Okay, so for number 1, the first one, valise, you don't know valise. So it's hard to know whether it's masculine or feminine. Yeah, somebody got the right guess. Yes, excellent. Oh, I'm not going to say your name because we're recording, but good job. I see you. Somebody said quel with 2 L's and an E because they made bleu feminine. Yes, that's exactly what I was going to encourage y'all to do. The right answer is quel. So you don't know valise, right? And this is going to happen a lot in French where you don't know the gender of a word, but you may have to do an adjective that agrees with it. Now, for these kind of activities, you can use your detective skills to look at the rest of the sentence to figure it out. And somebody is a really good detective. Good job. I see you. La bleue ou la rouge. I gave you a little hint in there. So for the excellent detectives, for the sleuths out there, la would have been the hint that would have told you, oh, okay, maybe it's feminine. All right, excellent. Give yourself a Kit Kat if you got that one right, because that's some good detective work. All right, for number 2, chaussure, plural. All right, so it's going to be plural. And then chaussure, is that going to be masculine or feminine? Do y'all remember? Chaussure, une chaussure. Chaussure, shoes are feminine. So it's going to be quelle chaussure? Quelle chaussure est-ce que tu vas porter? Which shoes are you going to wear? Yesterday, you may have watched the inauguration and there was some awesome fashion. If you're into fashion, yesterday probably gave you a lot of life. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm not a big fashion nut, but I notice and I care. So it's really cool to see people really dressing up. So quelle chaussure? Quelle chaussure? You may have thought, okay, for Michelle Obama, quelle chaussure est-ce que tu vas porter? That was an important decision she made. Quelle chaussure? Tu préfères quelle chaussette? And so here, chaussette, do you think chaussettes are masculine or feminine? And you can try to use your detective work to figure this one out if you don't know. Yeah, somebody got it right in the chat. Anybody else get it? All right, so once again, if you're blanking, if you're forgetting, okay, well, chaussette, is it masculine or feminine? You can look at the rest of the sentence. Les chaussettes blanches, and because it's blanche and not blanc, you know it's feminine. Tu préfères quelles chaussettes? Les chaussettes blanches ou les chaussettes à poil? Blanc. So the color white in masculine, blanc, feminine, blanche. So yeah, good detective work. I had told you ages ago that I would teach you a tongue twister in French, and I never did it because I think I forgot. But I'm going to make good on that promise today. Okay, you all ready for it? Here it is. Les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches, archi-sèches? Les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches, archi-sèches? So the socks of the archduchess, are they dry? Mega dry? So it's a tongue twister, so it doesn't really make sense. So you don't need to look for logic in there. It's just silliness. It's just sounds, right? So if you want to practice or you just want to impress your parents, you can get that and practice it. Les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches, archi-sèches? Maybe you can say it real fast. All right. I've said it too many times to mess it up at this point, unfortunately. Okay, quatre. Somebody got quatre right. It is quel? Quel est le nom de la compagnie aérienne? What is the name of the aérienne, compagnie aérienne? So like Delta or JetBlue or Southwest, United. Quel est le nom? Le nom, right? Le nom. Quel portefeuille? Masculine singular. You wouldn't have any way of knowing that. Okay, these ones might have been easier because we're seeing more of the words that you're familiar with, like t-shirt, pantalon, le numéro. And then these questions that I just asked you earlier today, âge. Excuse me. These ones, if I were to give you a quiz and ask you to do this on a quiz, say at the end of next semester, I would expect you to get it right because these ones you're familiar with. I know that you know these words. Thank you. Somebody said, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll pause recording. I'll give you another anecdote. Très bien. So we made a little parentheses. So coming back to quel, hopefully this one was a little easier for you. I'll go ahead and give you the answers. Quel t-shirt, plural masculine. Quel pantalon, singular masculine. Quel est le numéro de téléphone, masculine singular. Le numéro, right? You've got all this extra information, right? But that could send you off on the wrong path. You just need to keep it simple sometimes. Le numéro. Quel est le numéro? Quel est le numéro de téléphone de la mère de ton ami? Je voudrais vérifier quelque chose. What is the phone number of your mother's friend? Right? It's all convoluted. Here, same thing. Ton amie marocaine Fatima, elle a quel âge? Quelle est sa couleur préférée? Right? So asking about your Moroccan friend Fatima. Fatima is a very important name to the Muslim tradition. I don't know exactly. I know she was very beautiful, but I don't know what exactly the legend is. I'll have to look that up. Fatima. So it's an important name. Ton amie marocaine Fatima, elle a quel âge? How old is she? Quelle est sa couleur préférée? So you've got all this other information, and maybe you got distracted because Fatima is beautiful or something. I don't know. It's part of the legend. But really, you just need to focus on, quel âge? Quel âge a-t-elle? Doesn't change. Quelle couleur? Doesn't change, right? Stick to the expressions that you know. And then, quelle est la date? La date. All right. So there is quel. And if you want, you can take a moment to fill out this, which I filled out for you. I should have changed that between last hour and this one so that I wasn't giving away all this stuff, right? But here you've got which or what, so quel, so the different forms of quel. And then we're going to talk about ce in a moment, okay? Ce, because ce changes as well. This, that, these, those. All right. All right, so ce, set, c'est. This, that, these, those. Ce pantalon est trop serré. Cet appareil photo ne fonctionne pas du tout. Cette jupe est très jolie. Ces pyjamas ne sont pas confortables en été. All right. I was going to go over this a little bit, but I don't know if I really want to. Y'all have already done it as an Edpuzzle. I would ask you two things. So we've got ce pull, cette chemise. What's changing between un pull and une chemise? What's changing between those two? Such that we might want to change ce. So ce is changing, right? Ce becomes set. What's changing between un pull and une chemise that might provoke that change? Awesome. Somebody gave me a great answer in the chat. Chemise is feminine, pull is masculine, right? So ce pull for masculine, cette chemise for feminine. Awesome. Yes. All right. All right. So ce is going to change between masculine singular and feminine singular. Ce pantalon, cette jupe. Ce pull, cette chemise, right? Does anybody remember, just to real quick, yesterday we talked about this. Cette chemise-ci, cette chemise-là. What is the ci and la doing? Does anybody remember? And again, these aren't things I'm expecting you to master. These are just gifts I'm giving you at the end of the semester, just to carry you forward, and we can master them later. It's more just, I'm just giving them to you as like, okay. Does anybody remember what ci and la, what work they're doing here? Yeah, so the difference is between this here and that there. So again, if you'll remember, yesterday I talked about ci, like ici. In French, the word ici means here. Ici, here. La, the word là in French means there. So là-bas, over there. Là. All right. Cette chemise-ci, this shirt over here. Cette chemise-là, that shirt over there. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of like this and that. Yeah. Awesome. $1,000,000 points to the person who got that in the chat. All right. So like quel, ce is an adjective. And it's important that we call it an adjective because that lets us know that in French it needs to change based on gender and number, all right? Because that's how things work in French, with French grammar. So with quel, we saw quel, right? Masculine singular, feminine singular, and then masculine plural quel, feminine plural quel. Ce is going to be kind of similar. It's going to be ce with masculine singular, cette, feminine singular, right? So cette chemise, ce pull, just like we just saw. And then when it's plural, it's really, really nice. It's like a gift. It's just c'est. You don't have to worry about gender in the plural. C'est, C-E-S. Okay. And so if I exit the, c'est pyjama, c'est banane, c'est chat, c'est personne. Okay, doesn't matter what gender the word is. If it's plural, it's just c'est. Now, with that gift comes a bit of a curse. Okay, there is this here. So what is happening here? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody guess with the information you've already seen? Why is this here throwing everything else off? So again, c'est, C-E-S for plural, it's so simple, so nice. But because French has to be French, it's got to be extra, it's got to do something. Ce and cette, most of the time, 90% of the time, when you see a masculine singular word, it's going to be ce. All right, this. But if it is a masculine singular word that starts with a vowel, not just an A, like I said here, but it starts with a vowel, it's going to be cet. So I'll put some examples in the chat. Cet homme, because H is a vowel in French. Cet imperméable, this windbreaker. Cet anorak, this poncho. Singular, masculine starts with a vowel. Why do they do that besides to infuriate and aggravate and just irritate people? Because it sounds better. It's strictly because they decided ce homme, ce imperméable, ce anorak, they didn't like the way that sounded, so it became cet, C-E-T. You're welcome. Oh, French. Okay, it just is what it is. So what I would recommend is taking a screen cap of this, and then you can copy the answers down in your own packet. Again, the packet, you're not finishing it this semester. It's something we'll work on next semester. Which brings me to my last topic. I had hoped to spend some time doing catch up. I got really goofy. We got some good cultural notes. We got a tongue twister. We talked about Kit Kats. We ran out of time for makeup work. There are people though who have 50% or less, or 60% or less for their grade in this class. And I really want to help them. So I wanted to make time in class to work on these 3 assignments, one of these 3, or all of them, if you've got most of them done, to catch up. These are 3 of the most powerful assignments, the heaviest in terms of improving your grade. So we ran out of time today, but I would really ask that if you have 60% or below in the class, that you spend some time today or tonight or tomorrow morning working on one of these 3 activities. I want to help you. So please also feel free to get in touch. You can send me an email to set up time, or you can sign up for office hours. My office hours are empty. I am so lonely. No, I work during that time. But if you want to sign up for office hours, it's really simple. You go to the calendar and you click Mr. Hare student hours. All right. And you can go ahead and plug in your name for a time that works for Friday, because today we're Thursday. All right. So I think what I'd like to do now is take the last 3 minutes of class and invite you to ask me questions about next semester, because it's weird, and then we'll sign off. All right, so definitely come through with questions tomorrow if you have some. Otherwise, à demain. Au revoir, and I hope you take advantage of some of this beautiful sunshine.